In this video, we'll talk about how Alpha is implementing genies to make working with REST services much easier. So in this particular demo, we're going to be using the Dropbox REST API. So first we'll just demo this and then we'll go and talk about what's going on behind the scenes. So I'm going to go here and click this button that says Get Files on Dropbox. And what's going to happen is we're going to make a call to the Dropbox API, and then we're going to populate our list control here with the data that came back from Dropbox. So you can see right now that there's a list of files here, but we're going to go now and add another file to my Dropbox folder. So I'm going to go over here to my list of files on my Dropbox folder here, and I'm going to upload a new file. So let's go here and figure out how to do that. So we'll go there and we'll choose a file. So I'll go here and choose C:\Dropbox demo and choose this file here called test Dropbox. So we'll go ahead there. So the file has now been uploaded to my Dropbox folder, and now we're going to go back to Alpha here and say get files from Dropbox. And now when we look in the list of files here, basically, oops, sorry, see this again here. There's the file listed over there, test Dropbox. Now I'm going to go here and give focus to this row here and then say get file contents. And you can see when I click this button now, we're going to make a callback to Dropbox and get the contents of that file. So this is the text file in my Dropbox. So now let's go and look behind the scenes as to how this was done. So first of all, we can see here that we have a button called Get Files on Dropbox, and if we edit this button, we can see that basically we've chosen Action JavaScript over here. And in our list of Action JavaScript actions, there's a category now called REST Service Connectors, and in this list over here is a bunch of predefined connectors like Dropbox, Spotify, Twilio, and Twitter. And then over here is a user-defined service. So basically, Alpha comes with a bunch of predefined services, and there will be an app store on Alpha's website where additional connectors will be available. So these this list of files that you see here, this list of options here, is driven by a JSON settings file. So it's very easy for a developer to add their own service definition, or you can go to the web control panel and we'll show you how you can add your own services. So right now, basically, we'll just go ahead now and choose the Dropbox option over there. And then you can see that this Dropbox driver here has the list of all of the Dropbox API endpoints listed over there. So basically the action that we wanted was the files list folder, and then this is the named resource. Now we'll discuss named resources next. So we're going to be using this named resource called My Dropbox. But a good way of thinking about a named resource is like a SQL connection string. It basically defines a whole bunch of properties like my app secret, my app key, and my app secret, which are used for my Dropbox account. So we get, basically you can see here that we're going to be using this My Dropbox named resource, and then here are the credentials for my resource. So we'll go ahead and click OK. So these are the parameters that we're going to pass into the REST API call, and then when the API call completes, this is the JavaScript that we'd like to execute when the code completes. I'll bring up the builder here so we get a bunch of help that tells us what's going to be happening. But the important part here is that we're going to get the data from the Dropbox response and then get a pointer to the list control over here and then populate the list. So let's pause now and pick this up in the next video. So we're continuing now. So we've defined our button now to go and get the files from Dropbox. And then we have basically another action over here called get file contents, which again was created using action JavaScript over here. If we go here and edit this action, we can see that this time we're choosing the file download action, and the file that we're going to download is specified by the row that currently has focus in the list control. And then when we get the on complete, you can see that what we're going to do is we're going to take the response that we got back from Dropbox, which is the contents of the file, and just stick that as the inner HTML of a div. So we've created two actions over here using action JavaScript. The first action is going to go and get the list of files on Dropbox, and then the second action is going to basically read a file from Dropbox and show the file on the UX component. So let's go back now to sort of the beginning of this whole process and see what needs to be done. So the first thing you can see, if I go over here to Dropbox, you can see that the first thing that I've done is I've gone to the Dropbox developer console and I've specified an application. So when you want to use the Dropbox API, or pretty much any service API, whether it be Spotify or Twitter or any service, you need to create an application. So we've created an application here called Alpha Anywhere app, and then if we go and look at the properties of this app over here, we can see that we have an app key over there, and we also have an app secret, and then we've specified some redirect URLs for the OAuth authentication. So the way that OAuth authentication works is that in the application, when the application is running, you first need to log into Dropbox and request information to access the folders, and then after the login has succeeded, you're going to redirect from Dropbox back to the application. So these are the redirect URLs that we're going to be testing. So in a live application, you would be using these settings over here. Then once we've created the application, you can see that this is the current contents of my Dropbox folder. And then here is the API documentation for Dropbox. So you can see all of the Dropbox API endpoints are listed over here, and all of these endpoints are now available directly in the driver, so in the alpha driver. So when I go back here and I say, let's just go here and create a brand new button, and then go over there and say choose a REST API, I'll choose Dropbox over there, and you'll see that this list of actions here matches the list of actions that the Dropbox API documents. And the reason that this list of actions matches what's in the Dropbox API documentation is because the driver that Alpha created for Dropbox defines all those endpoints, and this driver, as mentioned before, is just a JSON file on your machine, and any developer can go and create their own drivers for any REST service that they want to utilize. So the next thing that I want to point out is we spoke about named resources and named providers. So we'll go now to our project properties, and we can see here we have something called named providers. So a named provider basically is, as mentioned, just like a connection string. So if I were to go here and edit this named resource called My Dropbox, you can see that it's using a provider called Dropbox, and these are the other providers that that Alpha knows about. So again, the providers can be created by developers. You can create your own providers, but you can think about a provider as much like a syntax for a SQL driver. It basically describes to Alpha how an authentication needs to be done. So let's pause now and pick this up in the next video. So continuing now, we're describing how a named resource is defined. So after you choose your provider, you specify the app key and the app secret, which you get from your Dropbox account over there, and then you specify the URL for redirecting. And this is when you're testing. So in development mode, you're going to use a test URL over here. And when you're in development mode, you can basically log into your Dropbox account right now and authorize it so that you can work in working preview while you're in development mode, and have a working Dropbox authorized access token. So you can see over here, so I'm going to go there and just reauthorize. So you can see now we basically are displaying the Dropbox login screen. Since I've logged in before my credentials were remembered, I'm going to just go ahead and give this app permission now. And now basically we've authenticated. So now during when I'm basically working in live preview mode in this application, I'm authenticated. So now I can go now and press this button, make my call back to Dropbox, and get my list of files. So essentially what we're talking about over here is how REST APIs can be defined to make them very easy to call from both Action JavaScript and also from XBasic. Thanks very much.